He's traveling, or he's got family, or you live next door, you probably know where he's going.
I hadn't talked to Jim forever. Jim talks to Grace a fair amount, but we've got some of their old plants, and she gave us one of Jane's big fish.
I got 2 of those.
Oh, do you? I love them. If you don't want them, I'll take them.
Well, what we did, we've got 2 of the big birds.
Yeah.
One at our house in the backyard, and we have a lake cottage up on Lake Murray. My friend and I bought it years and years and years ago together, and he passed away, and I bought it from his estate. And his last name was Parrot. So we've named it the birdhouse, the bird cottage, and I hung that big thing out in front on the tree.
That's perfect.
It works out well.
Do we have another? Alan said he's coming by.
Alan's going to dial in. He's already on.
Oh, he is?
CBA. He's already up.
Hi, Alan.
And Scott should be on. I don't think we've gone live with the mics yet.
Yeah, I don't think so. Sorry, Jimmy. Let me ask Catherine. I'll write if she's got some more.
Yes, she is. Hello, Scott. Hello.
Okay, let's see if that works.
Catherine, we have an extra agenda. Thank you.
Hey, that's Scott. Good to see you, man.
Good to hear.
Okay, we are up
We
and
don't have to
running.
wear masks.
He's been out there for months, if you don't want to.
Alan, can you hear us? Alan, can you hear us? We can't hear you, Alan. Okay. Well, we have a quorum, so we'll just
Okay.
to you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, it's called to order the 6 o'clock meeting of the December 20th Folly Beach Design Review Board. And Katie, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, Ms. Burkett?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading.
No worries.
I'm here.
Okay. Mr. Rideout?
Here.
Mr. Kenter, can you hear us?
Well, he's dialed in, so that's interesting.
Okay.
Alan, check your mute button or something.
And then Mr. Fink.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, wait for it.
Freedom of Information Act has been previously published as required with ample time for the scheduled meeting. Can I have a motion for the approval of previous minutes from October 18th?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? Having heard none, Katie, call the roll, please.
Mr. Rideout?
Approve.
Ms. Burkett?
Here.
Mr. Kenter? Mr. Fink.
Yes.
It's been a long couple of weeks.
Okay, Katie, personal appearances?
So we have Sandy Byers with us today for 87 Center Street. And when we get to new business, he will describe that wall and side door. And then we have Mr. Alan Campbell with us representing the duplex project at 220 West Arch.
Thank you. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you.
And any particular citizen comments and submitted in writing or anything prior to the meeting?
Nope.
Okay, any old business?
Nope.
All right, moving to new business. Looking for an accelerated review on 87 Center Street. Sandy Byers is representing Brian Buck, and we're looking at a CMU wall and side door, main door. Can I have a motion to discuss?
So moved.
Second.
All right. I think we've approved that, Katie. All right, Sandy, you want to introduce your thought process here for what you're asking to do?
Katie, do you have this A201 on that?
Probably.
Looks like that's an old.
This one that you dropped.
Mr. Campbell, thank you for your patience. We're working through this here.
We're fine. I got all night.
Whoa.
We got 2-6.
Morning, Renee, how are you?
Hi, mine's
Good,
on
thank you.
route, but there's
That's all right.
traffic. Like, Benson.
Yeah, this is the sheet that I wanted to go to. We decided in the front, we wanted to add a pedestrian door, which is very important because we have to have an entry on the side here, and people can only enter through that and come into the outside dining area. So that's why we needed to have a door here. We had a larger overhead door there, and we had one here.
They're both free down.
Right. So we've added this door, and these piers are a little bit wider than they were before, and these doors are a little more similar in size, which I think looks better. And then we're lining up the mullions there. So I think this is an improvement over what we were showing
Now, this is
before.
all, Eric's cool with all this with the door here.
Yeah, so I talked to Eric about that, and it could also be interpreted as an egress requirement, so if those doors aren't open, we need to be able to
Okay, good.
get out.
Let me turn this.
So those are gonna be like fire doors, or what kind of door is it?
They are,
Push doors, like clear glass.
yeah, but they have to be a special glass that will withstand the flood pressures.
Right.
So that is a special type of glass for all of the fenestration that's on that ground floor.
And that's gonna enter into an outdoor dining room.
Yes,
Nice.
and this indicates a 3-foot wall that comes across the front and returns down. Let me get to the site plan so look at that. This is the restaurant layout. This is the door we were just discussing here. And this is the front courtyard that will be totally surrounded by a 3-foot high wall. The point is, we don't want anyone entering any of these spaces without going into the hotel. So here's the entry, so that people can enter and go into this dining space, but no one can come from the parking lot and go in. Same here. So this is a 3-foot high wall, and we've also got a banquette that's poured out of concrete here and here. So
Put the banquette on.
it's
Pick a booth.
it's
It's
just
a
a booth
stone
or a
seat.
seat.
A bench,
It's a
yeah.
bench, the bench seat, and that way you can get 2 tops. And people can kind of sit on the back.
Look out, whatever, people like to look at the street too.
And we've got a detail, let me show you.
So the intent of these 2 larger doors here is to make it sort of an open space when it's nice out. And
We want this to read as one space, so when people are driving by, they look in and see all the way into the restaurant. I think, it would be
But
lit.
this isn't
and
any, this isn't a big change.
Yeah.
No, it's really not.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to and Katie will tell you, we're trying to meet that zoning requirement of having to go into the restaurant.
Yeah, so that is
Really?
a requirement for your accessory.
To go inside the restaurant before you can
You
sit
can't
in,
go
you can't
into
come in
any of the,
from the outside,
no.
okay. Gotcha.
Which, that's a zoning requirement.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is a detail showing that banquette. Here's a, section.
Side cut down.
And then we got it, says 3-foot again, and then there'll be a seat. And then we got openings so that water can flow through, or we can also like blow trash or leaves or whatever out, through those holes. So
What is your overhead structure?
there is no overhead.
On the outside, no trellis work or overhead fans or nothing, it's just open.
At this point, we may want to come back and add something later, but
This point, we're just thinking umbrellas.
umbrellas,
Okay.
tables and umbrellas. So those are the things we're really asking for tonight. Is there anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. Katie had anything else that she was,
Yeah.
Katie, we just needed to be doing the courtyard and the facade,
Yeah,
right?
was there anything else? Yeah, changes on
See
the
you
front.
all. We thought
This
about
Yeah,
entry
that.
just
thing
the
was
wall.
important.
Ryan did want to let everyone know that this will become a green wall with some big ivy on it as well, so it won't be concrete forever. It'll actually be like a living wall.
We're gonna try to do that here too,
Mhm.
like we're gonna do,
at the
maybe,
stairs.
some kind of wire.
Mhm.
This is not open air.
This is.
That part is?
Yes.
Okay, so I know all that is.
This right
This is
here
the main
is,
Where was the
wall.
previous
This is-
garage that was all covered before?
That's here.
Okay,
so
you took
garage
all
doors
that
are
down.
here,
Oh,
new
that's
door. This will all be walled in, but not roofed. We did talk to them, they might put some sort of like sunshade or covering at the top here, but, it would be temporary, so you guys wouldn't, look at that, but, yep.
And there
So,
are some overhead doors here
Mhm.
that we've already had approved.
Right, right, that's so you can have some walk-up service.
Well, they can't walk up. so,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there's stand-up
Some
service.
go-in
Yeah.
service.
yeah,
They gotta come in and go around.
Are you gonna be able to order anything from the outside though? Can you order anything from outside?
you have to,
Yeah.
That was you come
in
in and let them know.
Right, so that's-
What's purpose is to
I
let
mean,
them know
if
you're
you're
there, right?
sitting out here, you'll be able to speak to whomever's in.
Sure.
Like,
but you
the
have to
whole principle
walk
of it
through
is-
here.
Yeah, I was just saying, if you're at the boat dock and you wanna run over, you're gonna call
You
and
have,
just do a
yeah,
pickup.
to come in.
Do a
That's
carry out.
the
Yeah.
purpose of
This
that
would be a
zone.
very short route to that.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
Right
yeah.
there.
And, yeah, there'll be probably a reception area here, and they may take orders from there too, so. But the main thing we, wanted to make sure that we were doing here is providing a sense of arrival and entry here, instead of it being all the way down here.
Mhm.
Gotcha. And the wall is just concrete block and.
It's gonna be, stucco,
Yeah, so simple.
stucco and
Are there any color requirements to that wall or anything like that we go over, or is that already are approved?
No, they're not gonna paint it, it's just gonna be
it's
that.
gonna be plain stucco.
And then they'll just put
Stucco.
plantings around it, so.
Same color as the stucco that's at the base now.
We just need a.
Any additional questions or comments, Scott? Karen? We never got Alan, I guess, back?
He's communicating via chat. I got him on that there, so.
Oh. Well, Alan, do you have any chat questions? Let's see what he's doing.
I can't even.
I don't think so.
All right, if there's no other questions or anything, can I have you wanna call the roll for accelerated review of 87 Center Street?
Yes. Mr. Rideout,
Yes.
Ms. Burkett,
Yes.
Mr. Kincher. Yes, everything through. Mr. Fink.
Yes.
All right, that passes.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you.
I love the sign, by the way, the colors and
Yeah,
everything.
look good.
Looks like the sunset.
Aw.
I know you probably have other
It's gonna
comments,
be
but.
much earlier. Yeah.
Understand.
Good
Thanks.
night.
Yeah, but I love it. It's very
Good
colorful.
night, Sandy. Merry Christmas, you guys.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so, and Mr. Chairman, we can do all three of these collectively. You guys can pass, you can do one motion to do all three at the same time.
Okay, did y'all have a chance on the sidebar here real quick? Did you have a chance to review the documents that she sent? You get a concept of what? we're
I did a
talking about?
little, if you have plans, I.
So I have plans, and then I also have the site plan up on the, screen there, so, I'll just point.
Well,
so
Ms.
that-
Campbell, before we get to you, we're gonna ask Katie to explain any, potential areas that required us to have city approval or setbacks and all that, if you address all that, Katie.
Yes, so it does meet our zoning requirements. This is in our Island Commercial District. We do currently have a moratorium on building permits, but Mr. Campbell met the deadline for DRB review, so this is why you guys are reviewing this new construction project. So, the house right here on the right is.
So I have a question, so it's on the other side of Third Street.
No, sir.
No, it's on this
Well,
side, it's this side of Third
it-
West,
Yes.
between Second and Third. It's the very end of Second.
Okay.
just before you cross over to where there's a parking lot there and showers and all that stuff at Third.
It's at 220
Beginning
West
of
Third.
Third. It's the very last structure
Oh,
on
west.
220.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's on the
It's on the
corner
west end.
of Third and Arctic.
Okay.
Right there. So, this front house is existing
Now,
now, yes, sir. And it has, an existing elevated pool. They're going to build the second cottage. It's about 800 square feet, with an additional pool. These small little numbers here basically check out that they are basically maximizing the lot, but it fits within the zoning dimensional standards. This lot is on sewers, so they don't have to worry about septic, so bedroom sizes are A-okay. So,
excuse me, Katie,
Yes.
not to misrepresent
Yeah, no,
anything. So the rag structure that Katie said is existing now.
Right.
Which is the existing structure, but we're actually not technically tearing it down, we're donating it to charity. So we're disassembling the house, and the reason we're doing it that way is because my background, I'm a structural engineer, I'm also a builder, an expert in building construction, restoration, renovation. We we spend a lot of time and effort evaluating the existing structure. I don't remember how old it is. It's more than 50 years old, maybe 50 or 60 years old. It's got water damage, it's got termite damage, it's got settlement issues, and we spent a lot of time on Folly, and we renovated and built quite a few houses out in Folly over the last 8 years. This one in particular is one of those that we spent time trying to salvage, but because of the damage and because of the cost benefit ratio, it's one of those things that the foundation is an old timber piling foundation. It's rotted away. It's not going to meet any new building code. We basically would have to, I guess, disassemble the house to be able to allow it to meet the code because of seismic requirements, wind requirements, load requirements, span, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I can get a little more details if we need to. So what we've done, we're disassembling that now. We already had the permit for that. We're working on it. It's going to go to charity. They're taking the B board out. They're taking the original appliances and the light fixtures and whatever they can salvage out of it and deciding. And then we're putting up a new structure on that, basically same location as you can see in the plans. So
Is it an elevated structure
It
as
is.
well then?
it's elevated.
So all of that is of no concern to ours, what the actual architecture looks like of the new building, since it's not existing.
right, so, I'm gonna go and scroll to the elevations. My mouse, you're having some technical difficulties. But I'm gonna scroll and look at the elevations. He also has color samples. That's really what you guys are
Yeah.
concerned about, but
Yeah,
this site plan is kind of the orientation of what everything looks like.
okay.
So yeah.
And it meets all
We
the
tried to
zoning
come up
and
with something that
everything,
wasn't
so.
too contemporary, more tasteful, to kind of blend in with the
Yeah,
architecture.
absolutely, it is, for years, I've wondered what that pool looked like. As I drive back and forth, I live on 6
A
West.
lot of people have
so
said that.
As I go back and forth, and
They really have.
I think that's a pool up
And we're salvaging the pool.
there. Okay, now the cottage is gonna have access to that pool
It will.
as well,
Wait,
but
we
from
have-
below.
Right, the pool will stay,
Right.
elevated, and we're probably gonna have to build a beam around that pool to raise it a foot, to get it the same as the finished floor elevation of the
Okay,
new structure. So the way our concept is probably allow the main house to access the pool, and then the two bedroom cottage probably will not access the pool. Unless we, work something out. But right now, the primary access will only be from the
Okay.
6-bedroom house to the pool, not both structures concurrently.
But that pool's been existing, correct?
Yeah,
The location.
Yeah.
the pool's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think my husband, some friends
looks like
once
there's
were
a
renting
check.
it,
Yeah,
stepped
it's
backwards into it one time.
it's been.
Chat question, I think, popped up. Well, I can't read what it says, but I can read the
Okay,
question.
you can quit and rejoin.
Oh, that out.
Sorry.
That out.
He says he can hear us, but he's just gonna stop the screen. That's fine. So if he goes away, we'll come back. Okay, so these are the plans that he submitted, so you can see that perspective view there. And then let me get to these architecturals that show some elevations here. Love when I do that. So pretty simple architecture there from West Ashley.
And we actually planned to renovate the existing structure to look exactly like that, so we decided we'll just go ahead and design the new structure, it looked like
It
what
looked
our
like it,
renovated
yeah.
structure was gonna, appear to be.
So that elevation, here, pretty standard. And then we get into wall sections. He does have colors picked out for you guys.
You know, Alan is our architect.
Yeah.
And sort of a builder architect. I'd be curious what questions he may or may not have of any of this exterior appearance materials. I'm not familiar with what kind of exterior materials you're using. Are you using vinyl or what is it?
So that's gonna be, you're familiar with the term hardy?
A hardy plank?
Yeah, hardy plank. We usually use a combination like hardy plank, lap siding, and then board and batten, but we all cementitious, decay resistant materials.
So Alan, you're asking, sorry, Mr. Pinter, you're asking which building is existing. It's the larger building footprint closer to Arctic is the existing structure. Mr. Kramer has said that will be pretty much demolished, but that the footprint is where it will be built back to. So it's that 6-bedroom at the front of the lot.
This is all being redone.
Yeah.
That's the exact same location, but very similar.
Yeah.
This is the new,
Pretty much
this
the same.
is the new cottage. So
Okay.
the footprint essentially is the same with exception
Okay.
addition.
And
This is existing structure.
Okay.
my printed one does not have
Underneath it, this is part.
colors on there, but on
That's
the
entryway
screen,
size.
Got it.
on the screen there are the colors. So it's like blues and grays. You can see at the top right corner.
Very subtle,
Mm-hmm.
nothing bright and continuing.
It's kind of turquoise now, isn't it? The pool?
It is. My wife hates it this year.
Oh, I
So
love
that's gonna go away,
turquoise.
right?
That's gonna go away. See, we get mixed reviews. Some people love it and some people don't.
I love turquoise.
It's a little bright. It's a little, you know,
My wife
this is-
said it's going.
Where's Jane when we need her?
Yeah,
It's gonna
Howard
be,
Jane, you gonna do push the luck?
it's gonna be more so.
So Mr. Pinter made a comment that he thinks that the side elevations need more and maybe bigger windows, or change some of the siding. So Mr. Pinter really likes variation.
And that's on the 2-bedroom.
Yeah, which all side elevations, Mr. Pinter, or
We historically have liked to see
yes.
a little bit more variations in terms of window sizes and shapes, so that it's just not box, box, box,
Right.
box, box, box.
Can you remind me what how close those buildings are to 218? I guess it would be. Like, how much would you be able to even really see those side elevations, or just from 3rd Street?
Well,
Probably
you can
not,
see
because
it
it's-
from, you
we're
can see
pushed
it from
over.
West Ashley as you're coming, if you're coming eastbound on West Ashley.
Yeah.
You've got a full presentation
Yeah,
of the
you'll be able to
profile.
see a full view from that direction,
That's right.
but from the east
Very
side,
little coming the other way.
yeah, hardly anything at all.
Right.
There's large shrubs, there's a mound, it's mostly blocked from that.
You'll have less palm trees here shortly.
Exactly, right.
Because they're taking down most
Well,
of
what
them
you
all.
just
Well,
call
it is-
Dominion and they'll take them down for you.
So you didn't have these roads.
Don't get me started. I'll have a heart attack.
So Mr. Pinter is looking for a little bit more interest, especially on that 3rd
Yeah.
Street west elevation.
Right.
Right now, I just have the 2-bedroom cottage on the
Which,
screen.
what number is that?
And we have not ordered the windows
Yeah,
yet.
just look at the bottom. It would be this side.
Yeah.
So the 3rd Street,
So it should be in these
Is it on those?
architecturals. Yeah, all these are structurals. So
Okay.
it would be,
it's neither of those.
this is the 3rd Street elevation of the large house.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the,
But that's existing, correct?
No,
well,
that's
they're
gonna
gonna
be
rebuild
redone.
it.
Redone, so yeah, I do think larger
And
windows.
then-
But what does it look like? I'm trying to think.
This looks
It's-
at the parking lot,
it-
the
Okay.
3rd west
Okay,
parking lot with
okay.
the elevated.
3rd Street,
Yeah, west.
okay, 3rd Street
Yeah.
West. On one side is a parking lot
Yeah.
with the showers and golf
Oh,
cart
yeah,
parking.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
where Arctic ends and circles
Yeah.
back around to 3rd West.
Okay.
He's right on that corner.
So these are the two elevations that you would see
Yeah.
coming up West Ashley back to Center Street.
Coming back to center. So
Okay.
Alan's point is that these are the same as those are
Yeah.
the same.
Especially in
as
this
all of
large
these.
house,
Yeah.
that was the comment that,
You're following that,
Mr.
Scott?
Baker
That
made.
makes sense? Yeah, I'm following.
he said it's just
Here we
2.5, it's a large 2.5
That's what we
stories,
realized,
so
that's what
just part of
confused
that,
us,
they
huh?
have a few small windows, so, just some. if you wanted to look at the project that they approved at the post office, those large duplex single family, we went through the board went through some iterations with doing some variation of board and batten to kind of differentiate the two structures.
Right. Yeah, we have no problem with that whatsoever.
That kind of interest.
And we usually try to break up the side. Usually we use combination of lap, board and batten, and shakes.
Gotcha.
You know, I know that Alan previously has mentioned things like the upper level window on that side being an octagon shaped window. Or
Something
this
different,
one being
just to
something that just breaks
differentiate.
out instead of that window being the same as that window being the same
Yeah, and I
as
think
this and
the
this.
reason the architect did it that way, that's a bedroom, that's a bathroom, and that's a bathroom. So,
You can still do things
Oh,
without.
yeah.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it's not a showstopper, but I mean, you might wanna come back with a little.
I don't disagree with it, it's kind of bland.
It is kind of bland.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not an architect, but
Yeah.
my wife and the
It works for
architect.
you.
Yeah. Structurally, it's a good wall because it doesn't have any windows in it.
You're right.
Good and solid.
No
It's
wind damage
Good
either.
and solid.
So, Mr. Chairman, I think there seems, I don't want to speak for the board, consensus for conceptual and preliminary review. But we would have to come back for final review. In January.
So we're looking at primarily just that elevation of the main structure, or the two bedroom as well.
Well, for the two bedroom as well, because
It's kind of
I mean, if you just look at it so that it's not bing, bing, slam, bam.
And Mr. Kincher has just one final comment, that a siding difference would be more effective than a window change.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking at, because it's all lap.
Yeah.
Right.
So probably more cost effective.
Yeah. So can we start with just the siding variation?
I think,
With say some shakes and some lap and board and batten?
Yeah.
Okay.
And some colors.
And some colors?
and so then, I don't know
And
if
some
Sean
colors.
would be able to do, maybe a look at what those colors would look like.
Oh, yeah, we can go ahead and do
Yeah.
a palette and then see, put those colors on there and let everybody review it.
Are you, is it theoretically an upper and a lower color, or is it two-toned, or is it all one color with just different color trim, or what's our thought here?
What, something interesting.
Well, so that's what we would want. We have the exterior colors paint
can't see
schedule
that.
on there,
I can't either.
but I would have to go back to see it called out.
And something else we've done in the past is putting like Bahama shutters over the windows to kind of put a pop on the side of the house, if that would help. Especially over a bathroom window, because it gives
Well,
you
in
more
those cases,
privacy.
kind of louver things that will drop
Yeah,
down,
exactly.
if you get bad winds, you could reach
Right.
out, put it down, screw it.
Right.
That's what it.
Okay, so Katie, those things would come under the final review.
Yes, sir.
So right now, conceptual, we've had discussion on conceptual. Preliminary, we've discussed with Alan's input to change maybe potentially some of the profile aspects so that we're mixing it up with a little bit of the siding, a little bit of the window shapes maybe,
Need some variety.
and some variety. And we just did, at this point, is there any more discussion from?
Yes, I just wanna talk really quickly about the vegetation, so obviously it looks like you got a bunch of palm trees, most of those have to come down, because that's where you're putting the cottage.
Right, so we're gonna have to, I guess, trade those out. Those are right at 12 inches, maybe 1 at 14. But we usually when we finish a project, we usually put a good bit of money into landscaping. We'll probably put some palmetto trees around the perimeter.
Alright, and then where the current structure is, those look like bushes or something, are you gonna keep most of those?
There's really not that much there.
Alright,
It's gonna come out where the existing structure is, because it's already an existing structure.
right, so that'll be about the same there.
About the
Not
same.
really touch.
We'll probably add more, actually. We'll probably have some fairly heavy landscaping just to kind of clean up the yard. Right now, the yard is partially taken over by cactus and needs something to take over, replace the cactus with.
Right, it looks like there's the power lines on the Ashley side, so they'll have to,
Oh, they're working on that now.
right, so those will just have to be.
So Katie, do we have final review over the colors and the landscaping? I think, right?
So, yeah,
Okay.
so, that's kind of what the stage is at now. We would just need, if Mr. Lighthouse doesn't have any more.
No, I just trying to, I went and looked at East Ashley, so I didn't.
Yeah.
The east side. Yeah.
I didn't notice the west, so.
Yeah, So just need some, a motion for conceptual and preliminary. Is our next step.
Okay, let's make a motion to approve the conceptual and preliminary plan for 220 West Arctic.
So moved.
I'll second that.
And is there any further discussion other than we've already had? I don't believe so. Katie, you want to call the roll?
Ms. Burkett,
Yes.
Mr. Pender. Yes. Mr. Rideout,
Yes.
Mr. Fink.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so Katie, in preparation for the final review, Mr. Campbell will work with your office to ensure that all the requirements that we're alluding to will be addressed when you come back for
Revised,
final.
resubmit.
And then, of course, landscaping plan, all those things, colors and things that are
Right, so do
included.
like a landscaping plan as well on the resubmit.
And as you already alluded to, some of that may change just because of the lopping and stopping they're doing with the palm trees on West Ashley. It's been unbelievable.
Oh,
We have Hampton does all of our landscaping, so I'll get my together something. Get that submitted.
And it looks like you're adding some driveways, and so just to be able to see the color, I know they're not driveways, but.
Hardscape.
Hardscape, right, so they'll have some color
Right,
for that stuff.
Yeah, the
Just-
color.
right,
So you get an idea what it's gonna look like.
right. Exactly.
All right, Katie, is there any additional, I'm sorry, Mr. Kell, do you have any other comments you want to make to the board or any other?
No, I think we're good. It sounds reasonable to me, and I think it's simple enough to revise and resubmit, get it back to
Okay,
Katie
and,
here, go from there. Because
Katie,
they're
you're-
approving it here.
any additional staff comments?
No, well, yes, so January, our meeting is the 24th, which is the 4th Monday, as the third Monday is MLK Day and the office is closed. So just wanted to let everyone know, so, January 24th will be the next meeting, you'll just have to get everything to me, preferably by the 14th.
That's reasonable.
Perfect.
Okay.
And then I'll send everything to the board the 19th or the 20th.
Okay.
That's it.
And this will go before review again, and then
Yes, sir, you'll come back and we'll do the final review based on
Changes.
comments and
Mhm.
changes we've made to your conceptual and preliminary review.
yeah, if you think it'd be helpful, we can do a board, of the elevation view, just so you can actually look at
That would be
it.
nice.
Real color and.
That would be
Yeah,
excellent
that'd be
too.
great.
It is nice if we have some
Yeah.
material things that we can
Yeah.
look
We'll
at.
absolutely do that.
And of course, the more outlandish the colors, the more you can show me, but the more likelihood you'll fail in the vote. Let's keep that in mind.
We would just match the colors from the photo. You'll see it,
You wanna,
you'll be able to see it going down the road.
you may wanna preview that with the,
I don't think my wife would approve that.
Katie, do you have any additional comments at all for the board? If not, we'll make a kind of a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Yes, all approved.
6:30.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
See you guys in January.
Thank you, Scott. Take care, sir. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
I may not be back in January or ever again.
Where are you going?
I'm going to the Ukraine next week, this week.
You